So I've been making comments recently about how the Caspian Explorer seems like basically the Anaconda 2.0 because it seems like it's geared to be set up in a way that allows it to pretty much be any ship you want it to be, and how I feel like that's kind of a bullshit design for ships because I think that individual ships should have individual jobs that it does a really good job at, and yeah, maybe you can finagle it into doing other things, but it's going to be really shit at doing it. Right? That's how I feel, and that's how I feel that ship design should be done. And I said in that video that the Anaconda is my least favorite, most hated ship in the game because, just like all of the new ships that we're getting, it was pretty much able to just do anything you wanted it to do. It was such a good ship that you could make it do anything you wanted it to do. All you had to do was swap out some components and set some things in here and do that. You know, you want it to be an explorer, strip out a bunch of stuff, pump up the frameshift drive, and you can get 90 plus light years out of it. Okay, you want it to be a combat ship, pull all that crap off, put a crap ton of armor and shields on it, load a bunch of weapons on it, and now you got this really powerful badass fighter. Right? You want to do cargo related stuff. It had a size 8 internal. You could put a freaking big ass cargo rack in there, and yeah, it's not going to be as good as, you know, the Type 9. It's not going to hold as much as the Type 9 or the Cutter or whatever, but it's still a pretty fucking badass cargo ship if you configure it that way. And the misconception seemed to be that, you know, you didn't have to make any compromises with the Anaconda. You had to make sacrifices to make it do this or make it do that. And my response to that is that that's not the point. The point is that it was the only ship in the game that could do everything very well, right? Like, it could be an excellent fighter. It could be a pretty decent freaking hauling machine if you wanted to be. It was the premier exploration ship because it had the massive fucking jump range, right? All you had to do was swap out some ship components, and all of a sudden it becomes a completely different machine. And I'm sorry, in my opinion, when it comes to ship design, you should not be doing things that way. It never works that way in the real world, and it should not work that way in a video game like this, where we're trying to get, you know, reasonably close to theoretical ways that things could be in the future, right? Most of us who play Elite Dangerous are not here to play an arcade game, right? It's a game. It is a game. People who are trying to say it's a simulation are just, you're overstating that quite a lot because, you know, Kerbal Space Program is a space sim. This is a video game that is loosely based on real-world physics as we see that they might be in the future. It's still a game. It's very, very much a game. But at the same time, we do want it to be believable, right? And that's the point. The point of my complaints when it comes to something like the Caspian Explorer is it's not believable. When I watch that ship being flung around like it's a medium-sized fighter, that's not believable. It's just not. When I watch that happening, I'm just like, are you serious? It's flinging itself around. No. A large ship like that is not supposed to be flung around. A large ship like that's supposed to hover over the ground and have a shuttle come down from it that does all that shit. That's the way that's supposed to work. That's the realistic, believable interpretation of how these things should work. My response to the comment that I got about me hating the Anaconda because it could do everything well is that the Anaconda is a bad ship because you can reconfigure it to do whatever you want it to do. In my opinion, ships should have one function that it does really well. The Corvette is only a combat ship. You're not getting that ship to do anything else. It is a weapons platform, and that's all it does. It has a terrible jump range. It has almost no cargo capacity. It is a fighting ship. The Cutter is sort of a dual-purpose exception, and I don't know how I feel about it, but even then, the compromises it makes in its weapon platform to get the extra cargo space that you get out of it, you know, the Cutter compared to a fully equipped Corvette, I don't know. That's a pretty significant trade-off that you get. The smaller weapons and in the way that they're laid out, you get a significant decrease in the combat capability of the Cutter, and the trade-off is you get a shit ton of cargo space, right? The ships back in Elite Dangerous had specific roles that they were meant to fill, and yeah, you could make them do other things, but you were going to pay a steep penalty to make that happen. And it feels like all of the newer ships are set up in such a way so that you can just buy the one ship, and yeah, you're going to swap out some modules and everything, and yeah, now you're not going to be a great explorer, but now you have some cargo space. But the trade-offs are not the trade-offs are not heavy enough to make it so that, I'm buying this ship for this task. And I disagree with this new philosophy of we want every ship we produce to be able to do every task in the game really, really well. So you just get this one ship and it does everything. You should have a fleet of ships in this game geared out, that each ship, the ship itself has a specific purpose. Not just that, I have 5 Mandalays and each one of them are equipped to do a different thing. That's stupid. It's bullshit. That's not the way it should be. It should be, I have this small fighter that's meant to go out and be a nimble fighter and do this and do all of this stuff. Or I have this small, and I have a different small explorer ship that's meant to have a crazy jump range, and it goes out and it's able to do that because the ship itself is at its base intended to do that. And the small ship fighter is intended to be a fighter. The class of ship that you're purchasing should be the thing that determines the activity you participate in with that ship. It should not be, I have the freedom to configure my ship however I want to get it to do this thing, right? Yeah, you should be able to do that, but it should be dog shit at doing it if it's not the intended purpose of the ship, right? If you want to challenge yourself to do that, sure, obviously, that's a cool thing to do. Good on you for trying to do something difficult. But I'm sorry, the Mandalay should not be able to be an amazing explorer and an extremely competent fighter and whatever else. Like, it's just the lack of logical thinking when it comes to these new ships is what I'm talking about when I say that the reason I hate the Anaconda is because they set it up, not that it does everything well, all at once. It is the fact that all you have to do is swap out some components and it becomes a completely different ship. That's my issue with the Anaconda. That's my issue with the Caspian. That's my issue with the Mandalay. The Cobra, I'm kind of iffy on that because it's intended to be a multi-role ship. I do believe that the numbers need to be pulled back quite a bit because it's way overpowered for what it is. But if it's intended to be a multi-role ship, then it should be reasonably decent at everything. It shouldn't be good at it. It shouldn't be very good at it. That's not what I'm saying. But it should be reasonably decent. You should be able to competently accomplish things with a ship that is intended to be a multi-purpose ship. But the Mandalay is billed as an explorer, and that's the only thing it should do well. The Caspian Explorer is billed as an explorer. It should be the only thing it does well. The Anaconda is a police vessel. The only thing it should be really doing well is fighting things. And then it should be, it's kind of the large version of the Cobra. I get it. It's kind of the large version of the I always forget that freaking the other multi-purpose freaking ship name. It always eludes me. I just can never remember what it is. It's not the Viper. It's the other one. I don't know what it is. It's like a bar of soap. The more I try to grab it, the more it goes away. And it's not going to come to me until after. And somebody's going to leave a comment and I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. I remembered after the video. The point is that a ship that can do everything should not be good at anything. It should be mediocre at everything. And then you should have ships that specialize in a role. They do it really, really well. And if you try to get them to do anything else, they're going to be complete dog shit at it. Meaning that if you have an all-rounder ship, right? You have an all-rounder ship, and then you have and then you have a combat ship, right? You can set your all-rounder ship to be able to do pretty decent combat, and then your fighter comes in and it completely blows it away, right? But then if you try to take that fighter and equip it to do maybe cargo runs, it's way the fuck down here compared to the all-rounder ship. That's the way you balance this stuff, right? You have specialists and you have generalists, and the generalists should be very mediocre at everything, and the specialists should be really great at what they're specialized to do and complete dog shit at everything else. And this is the problem that a lot of us have with these new ships, because they're designed to be great at everything. And it sucks, because why would you buy any other ship? You just buy your favorite model. You buy your ship, the ship that looks the coolest to you, and then you just gear it out to do what you want. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It just really doesn't make any sense. And that's why some of us, get really passionately annoyed by the design decisions that are being made by the developers, because they're not taking the proper approach to ship design. Proper ship design means you look at what would really be feasible. Maybe you take a little bit of a license because it's a video game, but it needs to be believable. If I'm watching an extremely large ship the size of the Anaconda flinging itself around not much slower than what a Mandalay would do, that's not believable. I don't believe in that. I can't get immersed in that because you will never see a big fat ship like that flinging itself around close to the ground. It just, you wouldn't see that. You just wouldn't. And I see that and it completely breaks my immersion of the game. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. You're not convincing me. All it is you turn the numbers up because you knew people weren't going to want to, feel like they're hauling a fucking elephant on their back every time they try to turn the ship. So you just turn the numbers up and let it go. And he came up with some bullshit reasons. Oh, the Mark II thrusters and Mark II this and Mark II that. And they're just way better than the other stuff. And it's like, I'm fine with the Mark II thrusters, but the only thing that the Mark II thrusters should be able to do is just make it reasonably feasible to operate in a controllable manner on a high gravity planet. Right? You get marginal increases that make it so that the gravity of the planet isn't just going to suck you down, right? It makes it so that you can fly and you can control yourself, and with a little bit of care, you can go down and you can land and everything's fine, right? And then in regular atmospheres, maybe you have a little bit more maneuverability because your thrusters are stronger, but it's not like what it is now. Not like the way that I've seen in these videos thus far of the way that the Caspian Explorer is able to just fling itself around even on high gravity planets. That's fucking bullshit. It just is. So I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the philosophy of ship design, right? You have specialists and you have generalists. Right? A generalist should be pretty medium at everything. And then the specialist should be really awesome at its intended task and be virtually unable to do anything else. That gives you the variety in the game to encourage you to purchase other ships other than just, oh, I want a Mandalay and I'm just going to swap out the components and always fly the Mandalay. Because why would you fly anything else if that's the ship you like and you can make it do what you want it to do? It's just not believable. It's not believable. I don't expect the game to be realistic because nothing about this game is realistic. But it needs to be believable. And that's my gripe. So that's what I wanted to say. Hopefully some of you agree with that philosophy. Hit that like button. Subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. If you'd like to support the channel, I do have PayPal and Patreon links, as well as the thanks button just below the video itself. So thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for our next video, and I'll see you for that one.